trying to reach you.
What is up, guys?
Hey.
Same old, same old.
Same old, same old. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your band name?
Future band.
Future band. Okay. Well, let's get into it. It is Wednesday, August 28th.
We missed a week.
We missed a week. I apologize. I was sick.
Happens.
But you're feeling better though, right?
I am feeling better. I still have this like lingering cold. It's just like here, but Shelly and I have been talking, and it's like there is a certain pollen that comes out at the beginning of or end of August, beginning of September. Yeah, there's a cat behind Jim. I apologize.
It's long COVID, dude.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, so we're back live.
Oh yay.
We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram live right now. We're on all the podcast platforms.
Was there a high demand for the live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
Also, if you're out there, like and subscribe.
See, this is Jim's job. Jim is the like and subscribe leader. We do have a Facebook.
Can
page
you dislike?
now.
Can you dislike?
I dislike you.
No, but is that an option to do to things?
Probably.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I think so.
Ooh.
Can't you dislike on YouTube?
Yeah.
What happens if you get a ton of dislikes?
I don't know. You probably get kicked off.
Yeah, nothing.
Probably nothing.
I wish you could get like a neutral.
That is just Toby's life goal is just be right in the middle.
So if I could get that high up,
rolling in the movie cart, that is you. So we have a guest.
We do.
Oh, right.
I've known this guest for, I don't know, it feels like 15 years. You've known him.
I met him in 2006.
So math it up.
I saw him and heard him, met him for 2 seconds.
Well,
2 seconds.
Introduce him, Jim.
Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, Allen Lepper Hampton.
Woo!
Hey, everybody.
Is it Leper or Leper?
Whatever you feel comfortable with is fine.
I'm never comfortable, but thanks for the offer.
Alan, where are you?
Welcome,
where are you
Alan. I know nothing about you.
Yeah, tell us about you.
You tell me everything I need to know. In a nutshell.
I'm in Florida.
Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I met these two guys. My camera's inverted. I don't know why that's so hard.
Somewhere.
At USF in 06, 07, I guess. I got there in 05.
University of Southern Florida.
Yeah, in Tampa.
Okay.
Which is not in the
school. And I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's in the central. Yeah, the central. It's in the south of America, but in the center of Florida.
Okay.
In the art program there, master's degree, and and then I feel like it's funny because I look back on that time and it was like you two guys and Kitsuro, and that was like my attempt to force myself to socialize.
Sucks,
was like
right?
was buying a Universal pass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kitsuro was like overly nice and extroverted, and he was like, "Oh, you should go sometime." And I was like, "You know what? That sounds like just the worst idea ever because I'm not a theme park guy. I don't like the sun, and I don't like lines."
Right, that does sound like a bad place for you to go.
And people in general, yeah. But I was what? I
right.
really should. And it was great. It ended up being, obviously I like hanging out with you guys, but also I ended up liking the whole experience of basically
simulated realities.
Going when we went, because most of the time when we were going when it wasn't super crazy packed, and it was fun. I really enjoyed that.
It was always nice to be able to walk away.
Yeah.
Like when you have a pass, you can just walk
you
away.
Just feel like, okay, I'm
right.
The fact that I showed up, I already
got
got my money's worth. The fact you're there, you're like, I got my money's worth. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah, I
Toby
would
and I
show
went
up and
to Universal and Toby and I went to Universal in October in LA at the Hollywood one, but it was free
was wild.
tickets, so we were just like showing up at like 6 o'clock and like was there for 2 hours.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I haven't been in years. That's where I was going every year for Halloween Horror Nights. But pandemic hit, and every year over the past 4 years or whatever last few years that they've had it, the houses have just looked like absolute dog shit. So, I haven't gone.
The last time I went was with you, I think.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last time I went, I think it might have been the year before pandemic. I can't remember, but they had a killer clown house that was fucking perfect. That's one of my favorite, old B horror movies, and it had everything from the movie, and it was like super well done. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, so yeah, USF, and then I came out there. What was it? We said 10 years ago, basically 2014. And did a solo show at RimCAD,
Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design.
Yeah, which was I don't know how much you guys know about me in that period of time, but that was like a real super insane period of time for me. So like coming out there and doing that show was really interesting. I think it's like creatively the best thing I've ever put together. And I really liked it, but it was such a weird show, and all the circumstances around it were really bizarre. And it was kind of like the last time I really spent a lot of time being creative. I kind of gave up after that.
What have you been doing since then? What do you do? Who are you, Allen?
So I teach, but that's just a job.
Okay, again, I'm sorry. I do too.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, especially these days. I mean, we could spend the whole podcast talking about how shitty students are these days, but I'll definitely bypass that one. But yeah, I kind of had a bit of a falling out with the creative process in general, and that had been coming for a few years. I had noticed that a few years prior to that, and it just kind of been it was definitely on its way, and I could tell it was on its way, and then it hit. So right there at that show was the end of a long-term relationship, and just like the most awful like TV movie style version that I would have never thought could have possibly happened to me. And so all that happened at the same time, and it was just I ended up moving. When I came out for the show, I was basically living in Alabama. And then after the show, I moved directly back to Florida. So it was like all that happened in just a couple of weeks right around the show. And so I've been back here ever since. And it was wild. Yeah, I moved back, and I kind of spent a couple of months being like, because my creative process was always I worked really fast, and I did a lot of pieces in a short period of time. And it was all under the umbrella of whatever the show that I wanted to make, like some sort of solo body of work. And then I would show that, and immediately after I would kind of quit making for a few weeks, like a month to 2 months. And then I'd be storing up all these ideas of pieces I wanted to make. And then after a couple months, I would just get right back to it and make the next body of work. And a couple months later, I didn't really want to. Yeah, and I spent a couple months being like, okay, well, it'll happen. I just gotta sit here and deal with it. And it just never did. It just didn't.
So what do you teach, or where do you teach?
I teach at the University of Tampa.
Okay, and what do you teach?
I teach digital arts, which is just like, I'm so fucking tired of computers.
Yeah, I bet.
And everything electronic except pinball machines that I just like want to. I don't know.
You should make a
trying
pinball
to figure
machine.
out a way. Yeah, well, I actually did start one.
Excellent.
You kind of have to be a genius to make them.
Yeah.
if you're doing
I wouldn't know where to
everything.
begin. Mine would be pretty boring.
It's
a lot of cardboard.
It's a lot of everything. It's like electrical engineering and coding and that's not even getting into the game design.
I take it back. Don't make one.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I did.
It's easier to
some
make
of
it like a
just-
pipe bomb, right?
Yeah,
Make some
well,
bombs.
I should. I could talk to old Gregory Green about that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Or the internet.
Yeah, I could Google it, I guess, at this point. Yeah. Yeah. So
I have a feeling you're already on watch lists. Am I wrong?
I'd really like to know with some of the stuff that I it's funny because a lot of the pieces that I've made. Yeah, I think
there's a good chance.
I'm on it. I say this to people all the time. I have no idea how I never got canceled.
I'm canceling you right now. You're canceled.
I can tell you. I can tell you.
I'll do you a
because
favor.
You probably have been canceled,
right
but
now.
you're such an asshole that you canceled.
You didn't even know.
Somehow.
You didn't even know
it.
Look at you.
Right.
You've been canceled so
doing
many
the social
times.
media thing, and everybody's already canceled me, and I just didn't notice it happen because I wasn't paying attention. But I
seem to recall a mural that maybe stirred some stuff up.
Yeah, I made and you can still kind of find that if you look hard enough, and some other stuff, and that's obviously shit that like everybody loved that thing, right? Like that piece in particular, and some other stuff that I made that was like right below that, but in the same vein. And it's funny because that shit, like if I had made it any time in the last 4 or 5 years, like
no,
I'd been run out of town, like literally probably run out of town.
I'm scared to ask what it is. Should I not even ask?
I mean,
yeah, you can ask.
So, man, this is where I get canceled from, isn't it?
Yeah. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to our podcast.
So,
been trying to meet you to cancel you.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's fine. It's whatever. I mean, it's bound to happen at some point, right? Yeah, I had this solo show at a small space down here in St. Pete, which is where I live, and it was this really cool small venue, and right on Central Avenue, which is the main strip in this small town here. And with the wall, right when you walked in, the two walls that face the external of the building were all glass. And so there's a wall, and I had a couple of small pieces on it, and then I used the rest of the wall, which was floor to ceiling, to paint a mural. And so I painted the whole wall black, solid black, and I had photoshopped this image together that was Martin Luther King, but he was in a Klan outfit.
Okay.
And he was like removing his hood, and it's like this classic photo of him laughing. There's not a lot of those, but I found one. And then the whole behind him is just solid black, and then in the distance there's this like enormous burning cross. And I spray painted the whole thing. It was all aerosol mural installation, right? So inside the space, and it came out great. And the way I did it was I installed the show over a period of 4 or 5 days, nights. And because the reason I said that the two walls were glass is this strip is like the 600 block was the biggest part of town, like the most bustling part of town essentially, and I just left the door open. And so the 2 or 3 nights that I was painting this thing, it was just constantly people coming in and being like, after the first night where I got everything kind of laid out, people coming in and just be like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And
good question.
And I had, plenty of white people, plenty of black people, like a pretty big range of people coming in and being like, not really knowing what was happening, and kind of like not being sure if they should be offended or not, which was great. Like that was kind of like, I was hoping to kind of ride that line, and the goal wasn't to offend by any means, but to pose some questions, and anyway, so the opening happened. It was great. Everybody loved it. Pretty good reception. The show was up for, I want to say, almost a week, and I woke up and got a phone call from the guy, the 2 guys that ran the space, and he was like, hey, we're the guy who owns the building, meaning the city block. He owns the entire city block. He called us up today and told us that somebody let him know that this mural existed and was a part of the building. And he told us that he was going to cancel our lease agreement if we don't immediately paint over this thing.
Okay.
And and he was like, I don't really want to paint over it. You know, it's art, and I understand it's, you know, the situation behind it, and there's no ill feelings behind it, but I don't know what to do. And I was like, just tell him okay, like, you know, it's totally fine. I half expected something like this to happen. It's totally fine. I was like, I'll come down there immediately and paint over it. And it was like a Saturday, I think. And so I hopped in my car and grabbed my bucket of kills and headed down there. And it was funny because the Megan Voller, I don't know if you guys remember her from Creative Loafing, was there. And I don't remember if she had contacted me and I told her I was going, or she just happened to be there or what. But she ended up talking to me, and I did this interview with her while she took photos of me whitewashing over Martin Luther King. And turns out it was a guy there was a guy on the block who had a shop, a local artist who I actually knew. We were acquaintances, friends of friends, basically, local drug dealer. And I don't do drugs. I just say that because it's context for the situation. But he saw the piece and got super offended, and as far as I know, was the only one that actually got offended by the piece. And he was the one that emailed the owner of the building, because he knew him, obviously, because he rented a space. Never contacted me, never talked to me, right? And so
to try to get context or understand what you were thinking.
This guy's not a layman, right? This guy's an artist. So his shop was a quote art shop. By art shop, it was just like a dude that painted shoes. I don't know. Whatever. Like I'm not gonna shit on what he does, but he wasn't what I would call a fine artist, right? Like a gallery artist.
Right.
So so I'm there with Megan Voller. She's asking me these questions. I'm explaining the piece, the context around it, what I was trying to communicate, all this stuff, and you know, whitewashing over this black man. And the dude shows up. I don't remember if somebody contacted him, or if he just happened to be walking by. I don't remember, but he comes in, and I was like, "Hey, man, I heard you like narked on me to the to the authorities or whatever," which is incredibly ironic. You want to talk about it? And he's like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." And I was like, "Well, what do you have any questions?" And I remember we ended up having a conversation in front of Megan Voller, and I talked to him for 20 or 30 minutes. I explained what the piece was about and what I was trying to do, and at the end of it, he shook my hand and he bought one of my pieces.
What?
And he left.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, "Damn, dude, we could have done that already."
Yeah,
you know, like,
right.
And
if you just talked to me,
could have saved some pills, man.
Yeah.
You had to buy another can.
But you know, like the story is worth a lot more than the actual piece existing for the month that would have been up anyway. And I have that photo of me whitewashing that thing, which is just beautiful.
The photo's great.
Yeah. So so it turned out great. It's funny, you know, how everything's so progressive these days, but the reality is that everybody was much more accepting 5 years ago than they are now. And the fact that I could do things like that and have people just come in and not like punch me, but just ask a question and then have a really nice, like, intelligent conversation with me, and then shake my hand and leave. I don't know, stuff like that. That would be so difficult and maybe impossible to do today. That it's a little disappointing, but
I mean, your work has always been something that fueled questions. I'll say that.
Yeah, hopefully, you know.
Yeah, I have one of
And
your anaglyph prints in my office. One with the snake
the
and the
yeah
3D one.
that's from that show.
Uh-huh.
So I made that at that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always had I've always felt, I don't know, outsider is, I feel like, not hyperbolic enough for what I want to describe. And it's actually gotten a lot more, a lot crazier in terms of the extent to which that feeling exists in me these days. And so my views on the world, the way things are, the things people do, human nature, and humanity in general, has always just been aggressive, and so a lot of my artwork, especially since late college, but grad school and the few years after, was really heavily aggressive, heavily tongue-in-cheek, heavily self-deprecating, and just sort of trying to take the piss out of everything, I guess.
Okay.
In hopes of doing the whole classic sort of like, I really feel like if the artist isn't trying to hold a mirror up to society and show them the things that they haven't seen yet about themselves, that I don't really know if there's a reason to make art outside of that, honestly, in terms of fine art and like showing in galleries. I think if you're not doing that, you're kind of just making wallpaper. Oh, Vince. Hey, Vince.
He wants you to know that Rush was really progressive.
There's a Rush pinball machine.
Oh yeah, there is. There's like all the classic bands. Led Zeppelin. They got Beatles. They got everybody.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I've been doing really heavily these last 10 years, as opposed, instead of making a lot of art, is playing pinball. So I'm I don't know, at this point, I guess, like one of the better players in the state.
Like, are you in competitions?
So I actually am anti-competitive in all things.
Okay. Because you're afraid of losing, but that's okay. Keep going.
Yeah. But I do. Yeah. So I don't know. I rate what I say, like, and I'm not trying to brag. I guess I'm just trying to give context, hopefully, in terms of, I do play some of the people that are literally competitive and the best players in the state, and can hang with those guys. So
yeah.
So
Alan,
yeah,
weren't you doing like Street Fighter tournaments and stuff?
Oh yeah, weren't you like the Street Fighter dude for a while?
So I grew up with Street Fighter. I still love Street Fighter, but I'm not great at it. There's a couple of them that I play, and then I feel like I play pretty decently. But in terms of being really good, I'm not. I am really good at pinball. I've spent a lot more time playing that. But Street Fighter is more of that thing. Like, I'm sure you guys all have
nostalgic
games. It's this nostalgia that never went away. It's just always been there. So my current car is a 2010 Scion that I got a couple years ago, and I painted Chun-Li on the back of it.
Chun-Li, that's my player.
Yeah, there you go. So the car I had before that is a 25 Toyota Matrix.
No one cares, Toby.
No, they do care. The world wanted to know who I would pick every time.
Yeah, who your main
Chun-Li.
So video games and pinball. At this point, at the moment, I help a friend operate a bunch of pinball machines locally. I currently like at a bar, a little barcade that's right down the street. So he owns.
That's nice. I hadn't heard.
Yeah, he owns about, I don't know, that's trademarked. I don't know if I can say it without getting sued. Right. I'm just kidding. It is trademarked though. But so he has about 12 machines and he operates them around town. So I help him maintain those. And then I actually, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember the game Killer Instinct?
Oh yeah.
So that's like when I was little, I was a mall rat, and I would get my parents to take me to Eastwood Mall to go to Diamond Gems, and my mom would give me $5 to eat and to play games, and I would go to Sneaky Pete's Hot Dog and get a 96 cent, whatever. It ended up being like $1.04, I think. I would get a hot dog plain and a cup of water because it was free, and I would use the rest on tokens to play Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Killer Instinct.
No.
And Killer Instinct was always my favorite. And I actually just about a month ago bought a original Killer Instinct upright arcade cabinet.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm operating that at this place as well. And that was kind of like my I don't know what you guys like, what your 13-year-old self, like what the pinnacle of your 13-year-old self thought you would never be able in your life to have happen, but that was like the ultimate goal. Like this was it. That was it. It's like owning an actual Killer Instinct arcade cabinet. So that was my you know, I'm a middle-aged man now. Like I can just go do this and it's not a big deal kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
What, what's your favorite pinball machine? We're getting
my favorite pinball machine.
Yeah.
So I usually just tell people that are asking me, especially if they're in the scene, my favorite pinball machine is whatever the newest one is, because I haven't learned it yet.
Yeah.
So instead of being competitive, what I tell people is I'm actually cooperative. So my thing with pinball is learning the machine in and out really well within the first like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I teach it to everybody that wants to know. So all my pinball friends who are pretty high level as well, I found that my strength is learning the games, and is learning the games in turn. I don't know. I guess a lot of people that might be watching this are familiar with pinball, but maybe aren't a pinball player. So one thing that a lot of people don't know is every machine is actually different. Every machine has its own specific rule set to that game. Usually is created to actually mimic the property that it's showing, right? So there's a Lord of the Rings machine, for example, and there's a multi-ball for each of the 3 movies, right? In the Fellowship of the Ring multi-ball, your goal is to actually shoot the ramps and get each character from the movie across the bridge fighting the Balrog, right? So there's a Balrog toy that pops out, and you're supposed to shoot a ramp to get a character across, and then you hit the Balrog, and then you shoot a ramp. And every time you hit a ramp, one of the character crosses, and they actually cross in the order that they crossed in the movie, right? So it's like, oh, this character's first, and this, you know, it's like, so these games are set up to be like specifically very in sync with the properties that they're portraying, and in addition to that, there's this incredibly intricate rule set that accompanies a lot of the newer games, and that's my thing, is kind of like systems analysis, like going in and saying, okay, what's happening here, what are these really complex rules, and how can I break them down and teach those to people, sometimes even as they're playing. So that's kind of where I really found that I excel. For a while down here, I was doing what I call the Pinball Social at a local barcade, my buddy's local barcade in Tampa, where I basically just ran a bi-weekly event where it was like, if you want to learn how to play pinball, because it's a little intimidating, it's hard to pick up, you know, you put your dollar in, you play 3 balls, it lasts like a minute and a half and you're done, and you don't know what happened. Right. So it's kind of like, come out and I'll explain a little bit about like beginner goals, how to do stuff, how to shoot things, how to read a machine, how to understand what maybe to do when you walk up to a brand new game. And there's lots of that stuff that you can learn really quickly that immediately makes the hobby like not nearly as intimidating to get into.
Some of those new ones with there's a lot happening between the screens they've now added, right? Like the technology, where I get really overwhelmed, admittedly. I'm a little better
part of the point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get it. I bet there's a learning curve. I'm better a little bit more old school. My dad has like the original.
You're not good at bowling.
Simpsons. No, I'm not good at bowling. We're not talking about bowling.
That's so like pinball.
You're not good at bowling. So
do you mean which Simpsons game? Like the really old one? Like there's a
the original Simpsons one. Yeah, he's got that one. and I love it.
The NSYNC pinball game? No, I don't think there actually is an NSYNC pinball game. There is an Apollo 11. Didn't one of the NSYNC guys want to go to the moon?
I think so.
There's an Apollo 11 one. Maybe that's pretty close.
Who's
There's
the
maybe
one
one
that's like a total asshole? I just watched some documentary about him and his brother. Aaron Carter.
Timberlake was in sync, right? Justin Timberlake.
Oh, maybe I got Backstreet Boys in sync.
Yeah, it's easy to do. They're the same diff.
Yeah, who knows?
Alan,
there's a gay one. I remember
the place where
that's the one that wants to go to space.
Sorry,
go, Jimothy, go.
Oh no, I was just curious if the barcade was the Lowry one or was
it? So that's my friend Robb's place, Lowry Barcade in Tampa.
I used to live down the street from it.
Yeah. So over the past 5 or 6 years, I guess, I started going there with some friends. Eventually met Robb, the owner, through them, and then over the last few years, I've helped Robb kind of, I don't know, revamp the place, I guess, by doing a lot of mural work. We kind of totally painted the inside of the place with a fair amount of my stuff, and then some other local artists as well. I painted on the outside. I painted a couple of murals. One of them is actually Street Fighter 2. So the mural is basically one of the levels from Street Fighter 2, and on the right side is Ryu throwing a fireball at you, and on the other side is an empty space with another fireball. So it's kind of like one of those take your photo inside the mural kind of thing, right? It's a life-size Street Fighter 2 insert yourself kind of thing. So
I thought
that's one of the better spots in town.
I thought maybe you painted Gandhi and Black Panther gear, but that's not what you did there.
No, then he had to paint over it with black paint.
Okay.
I don't know black wash.
Okay.
I would maybe do that. Yeah.
When that place first opened, I went over there with Adam because he did like a Sexy Mario meet and greet there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Robb knows Sexy Mario. I've told him that I'm good friends with Sexy Mario. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember I was helping Robb do some kind of mural, and he was like, "Oh, the paint and stuff's in the back office." And I went back there, and he's got just a bunch of stuff from random events just kind of posted to the wall. And there's like a fucking 8x10 of Sexy Mario, and I was like, "This fucking guy. This fucking guy."
Yeah.
Good old Kitsuro.
I bet Toby doesn't know anything about that, and he talks to
Sexy
Adam
Mario
every week.
I don't know. No.
I mean, doesn't he?
I have visions in my head. Yeah, I see him
online teaching it.
I see him like weekly at a meeting that we have together every week.
Yeah.
Does he live up there now?
No. It's all online. It's online.
Oh, okay.
He's in Florida, but I see him.
Where
weekly.
is he? He's Orlando, maybe, or something. Right?
Yeah,
he's Orlando.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is a hilarious Kitsuro related story. I went to MegaCon a few years back. I guess it's been like 5 years ago now or something. I don't know. But MegaCon is the big convention in Orlando. And of course, Sexy Mario is at all the MegaCons, right? I'm with, I think the girl I was dating at the time, I can't remember, walking through. It's a big, crazy day, whatever. And I go up to the booth. I find him. I go up to the booth and I'm like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And he talks to me. How's it been? What have you been up to? All this kind of stuff. I talked to him for like 10 minutes, right? I was like, "All right, I'm going to head out." And I left with my girlfriend and we got in the car and we get about 10 minutes away and I get a text from Adam and he goes, "Hey, man, when are you showing up?"
He told me about that.
Wait,
and I was like,
so this is the same guy. This is the guy you just talked to.
Yeah, I was like, "Dude, we went to grad school together. We've been friends for like 15 years.
And we just had a conversation.
I just talked to you for 10 minutes. What do you like?" He's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. It's been really busy." And like, I was like, there's either something wrong with me or there's something wrong with you. Now
I'm going to guess it's 50-50.
I will say this, like people, I always assume that people don't know who I am. I never forget a face, but over the years, I've realized I will look different occasionally. Like I realized if I put different glasses on, if I have a slightly different haircut, if I shave my face or whatever, people just don't fucking know who I am. It's like I have the most non
Alan Plain
white
face
guy
over there.
Yeah, it's weird. I really should have been a criminal or something because I'm like not taking advantage of it very well.
Should have been? What do you mean should have been?
I assumed you were a criminal.
Well, yeah. I mean, I grew up a graffiti artist, so I guess that's pretty criminal. But that's not really criminal, you know. That's a victimless crime.
This show is supposed to. You're supposed to tell us all your crimes that you've committed, and then at the end of the show, we actually decide whether or not
to report me.
To like you've hit a certain amount. Like, is it felony? Okay, let's turn him in. If it's not felony, we just let you go.
He seems good so far. I
don't know. A lot of misdemeanors eventually add up to a felony. Is that how it works?
Nah, I don't think so. I think you can do misdemeanors all day long every day.
Toby's a lawyer.
I just want to paint trains. Like,
what's that?
I don't. What's wrong with painting trains?
Nothing. We love it when we see him come through town. Good job.
I mean, damn. Yeah. I actually train hopped out of Denver once.
Okay. That sounds safe.
That was well, kind of out of Denver. My buddy was living up there when let's see, right after. So I was kind of hanging around USF the year after I graduated with April. So I was seeing April at the time, and then we ended up getting a kind of a show type thing in Asheville, and so we both went up there. While I was there, I met a bunch of people, and one of the guys I met ended up being this. Well, he was the guy that ran the little festival that I was a part of, and he ended up being this cool dude who's also a sort of lifelong train hopper, hobo, whatever, you know.
Yes, hobo is one of my favorite terms. I think it's one you're not supposed to use, but I love hobo. I strive to be a hobo one day.
And I have grown up a train kid all my life. My dad was a brakeman for CSX, and I grew up around trains. And then when I hit my teenage years, I started painting trains. And my entire life, I wanted to ride the rails and be a bum. But I've always been a little too apprehensive to do it myself. I'm a risk taker, but like within limits, and that's a thing where I just like, I don't want to do the wrong thing and get cut in half kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I met this guy and I was like, I want to go out sometime. He's like, yeah. Okay. So a few years later, it ended up making it work. And he was living out in Denver at the time, doing, DC, Dark Continent, classic. I went out to Denver, met with him, hung out for a few days with him and his crew. And then we were supposed to sort of catch a train out of Denver and go all the way to San Francisco. And we ended up, the day we were going to catch out, we headed out to the yard, and the scheduled train wasn't there. And he was like, all right, well, we can't head out of here, but I think same train should be, or maybe it was a different train, should be heading in the same direction, same destination from Cheyenne. And so late that night, he had a friend of his to drive me and him and two of these other guys up to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And he dropped us off at the whatever yard it was. I can't remember what company it was, just in a parking lot. And we kind of walked, hopped a fence or walked around a fence, I can't remember, and walked right into the yard and kind of sat off to the edge of the yard and watched trains for a minute. And he was like, all right, well, I think this one should be coming through soon. And a train rolled through, and he back then, I don't know if you can do this now, but he made a phone call. There's numbers you could call, they're made for the people that work on the railroad to be able to call and type in the number of the train you're looking at and see where it's going, and figure out all the details. And so he did that, and he was like, okay, this is the train that's going where we're going. And we just hopped right on. It was kind of amazing, actually, because we sat in the yard less than 10 minutes, which is not really something that happens. Usually you're there for a really long time, but hopped on a train. We ended up on what they call a Viking boat or Viking ship. I forget. It's basically a a flatbed that they use to transport intermodal containers. The intermodal containers are the ones you see that are on ships, and they put them on trucks and whatever. So they put these on trains as well. It's a real low flatbed, and then they can stack 2 sets of 2, so 4 total. And this basically it's flat, and at the ends it comes up in a U shape, so it looks like a Viking ship, right? It has those big half U shapes at the end. And the way that half U shape works is if you're in between 2 cars, so the 2 cars meet at the knuckle right there like that, and then at the end of the car there's like a platform on both sides, and the platform is, I don't know, 3 foot by the width of the car, so whatever that is, like 5 foot wide or so, and it's big enough for 2 people to sit on pretty comfortably. And so we had 2 people on one, and then the knuckle where the cars attach, and then 2 people on the next car. And we happened to be lucky enough to where we got on these where they didn't have 4 container cars, they had 2. And what that meant was we could sit on that platform and be totally concealed by the sidewalls. But when we stood up, the top of the intermodal container came to right here. And so we could stand up and see everything that was happening without anyone really being able to see us for the most part, unless it was just broad daylight and we were going through the city or whatever. And we went from Cheyenne, Wyoming. We got on at like 2 a.m., something like that, and rode through the middle of, the rest of Wyoming and all the way down through Salt Lake City. And it was like the most like beautiful, surreal experience I've ever had. I've gone one time since then, and it was equally as good. And we ended up hitting at one point. We got to this Y out in the middle of the desert, nowhere. There's no lights. It's almost sunrise. And we got to this Y where two lines sort of come together, and they stopped the train because there was another train that was coming through that had priority. So we pull up, we stop, and it's clear that we're going to kind of be there for a few minutes. We're far enough back in the train to where the people in the engine have no idea we're there, and they won't be able to see us. And so my buddy's like, hey, we can kind of get out and walk around and stand on top of this thing, do whatever we want to do. And we ended up being there for about 20, 30 minutes. And while we were out there, the sun came up, and it was this like amazing sort of, I don't know, it was like half Looney Tunes, like, the painted desert out there and that whole feel. I'm sure you guys see a lot of that to an extent out there in Denver anyway.
Alan, didn't you post a video or something from the top of a train? Because I remember seeing it, and I was just like, "What is he doing? This is amazing!"
Those are on my YouTube. I can't remember if they're private or not, but I put them up there. So I have this video of me standing on top of this train with like the entire left side is just dead black, desert with the full moon, and then the right side is the sun rising and like just this like beautiful new day, and it's just dead ass quiet, and there's no light pollution, and there's no human beings other than these 3 dudes I was with, and it was just like I'd never had an experience quite like that. And for someone like me who spends a lot of time trying to get away from the world in every way possible and people, it was just like really amazing. Just like super awesome.
That's awesome. I have one question that I've been thinking about the entire time you're talking about being on a train. Did you carry a stick with a handkerchief?
the bindle?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
I didn't know it had an official name. I feel like I just got educated.
I don't know how I knew that, but I feel like I knew that from like being a kid and seeing like little cartoon drawings of
the cartoon
kids with the stick with the bandana, with your shit in it, like your egg salad sandwiches or whatever.
Yes.
But no bindle. I
would have had to have that.
Both times I've gone, I was like comically unprepared for the cold. Wind. I thought I was prepared, but man, you're basically outside and you're going through the desert, right? And I think it was. I remember when I was. Yeah, exactly. And I remember when I was in Denver, I didn't have a car. I was just walking around the city the few days I was there, and it was hot as shit. So it was not winter, and when we left, you know, it was fine. It was just like perfect, nice, you know, comfy night, and it got freezing, real cold, and it was even colder this last time I went. I was in Pennsylvania, and yeah, man, that hits hard. Those like 50, 60 mile an hour winds with nothing to protect yourself. You think you're bundled up, but you're not, man.
Something happened to the Instagram live. It said it suspected automated behavior, and it canceled it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've been canceled. Is
Yeah,
this the
apparently,
the beginning of it?
It thought you were a robot or something. I don't know what it thought.
I've been convinced of being emotionless before, so
okay, so that's what it
very
was.
robotic, and
yeah.
So maybe it's that. Maybe it.
Are you pretty dead inside too? Is that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
And on the outside.
Definition, but probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Alan, can I recall the first time I met you?
Oh yeah. I don't. So I'm not sure I remember. So once you tell me, I might remember. But
so I came to visit USF. I hadn't accepted yet, and I showed up. I think it was like grad seminar, and it was your turn to present a bunch of prints. That was I wanted Raft of the Medusa. Was it?
Yeah, the Raft of the Medusa. Yeah,
and giant print. And Murnette was there, and you started talking about how you're using like animals to represent this and machines to represent that, and you just had the whole room kind of like there was a lot of agitation amongst the group of grad students, and I remember just seeing like, wow, this is really cool, it's really well done. And it was just a really fun experience to kind of see everybody kind of, well, they were kind of turning on you, but you were defending yourself pretty.
Do you remember what the agitation was about?
It was about gender and how you were using certain symbols to associate. Yeah.
Oh, it was probably bullshit where it was like, oh, he's oversimplifying, or like he's being sexist. Like, I mean, obviously, as a white dude, like, I think this was before everybody went like totally insane. But doing the stuff I was doing, like, I remember that happened a lot. The second and third year, I felt like, and I really leaned into it a good bit as well when I saw it happening. Because I didn't really care, and a lot of my work was about, honestly, like trying to figure out that kind of stuff about myself anyway. A lot of my work was pointed externally, but a lot of my work was pointed internally, like trying to figure out where I felt like I fit in terms of how I felt about my relationships, or how I felt about women specifically, women individually, and women on the whole. And so a lot of that was inquisitive and whatever. It's funny because I was actually just thinking the other day about at some point we had that listserv. You remember the listserv?
Oh yeah.
And I think they quit the listserv at some point. I can't remember.
I think Google stopped the listserv.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
I remember specifically a couple of times where I was like leading the one-man charge against like changes in the administration that they were putting out. And I remember the big one for me particularly, and it kind of comes back around to what you're saying about this thing that you experienced. It was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, this dude showing this thing, and that's kind of cool what he's showing, and these people like trying to get at him in a certain way. And there's like, actually, that's what grad school is all about. That was the
totally
best part of grad school. And I enjoyed that. I always felt like if I couldn't defend myself, then I was fucking up, and I should be able to. And I felt like all of us should be able to. That was the reason we were there. Like, if we couldn't do that, we were not good artists, and we didn't deserve to graduate. And I remember sometime second year, it might have been third year, they were like, hey, we're going to do the reviews are going to be closed. We want to just like, we've had some people that are just real intimidated by open reviews and having all these people in the room. And I was like, no, like, this is stupid. Don't do this shit. Like, number one, I want to fucking go to these things. I really enjoy them. If there were people I remember, I won't name names, but I remember people that were like crying during reviews, and they were crying not because
was it
It was Jim. It was Jim.
Jim broke down in tears. No,
yeah.
I remember
Jim does cry on like I can make Jim cry in about 2 seconds if you want.
I don't think it was me. I don't think it was me.
They couldn't stand up to scrutiny, and I don't know if that was because, you know, you could say like, oh, your work's really personal to you and blah blah blah, and that's, of course, you know, mine was too, right? It was super personal, hyper personal. But the fact of the matter is if you're making work and you can't stand up to people saying, I don't like this because of this, or I think this is failing because of this, and you can't say, okay, maybe that's right, or no, it's wrong, and here's why, like, I don't know, get the fuck out, like, quit making art. So I really wanted those to continue, and I was really bummed because they just kept getting more and more closed. And I remember my third year, like, I'm graduating bullshit. We had the MFA, right? That was the year that they gave the MFA to all of us, and we had like 20 foot of space or whatever. It was the first year that they kind of screwed everybody over. And I remember very specifically making mine public. And I was like, hey, if anybody wants to show up, grad or undergrad, whatever, please come out. Feel free to ask questions, whatever. Like, I'm not closing that shit off. Like, I want anybody to feel like they can be a part of this. But I don't know, the administration was kind of pussy about it.
A lot of, you know, people ask me about grad school or the experience, or, you know, they're like, I'm going to go to be a better artist. I'm like, don't waste your money on grad school, or that's not
right.
Or, you know, kind of have those conversations. But I always liken it to the arts don't have fraternities, don't have hazing. So grad school, once you get out, you have the same degree as the person that's, you know, controlling that. So it's very much like a sense of hazing.
Yeah.
Like that's the, you know, at least the old school mentality.
I felt that
for sure
all the time.
Me too.
And I didn't mind because I wasn't trying to be friends with these people.
Right.
I respected about half of them, and the other half I didn't really. I wanted to, because they were my professors, and I wanted to really love them because I wanted to get as much out of them as possible. But I learned really quickly that that place in specific was very strongly divided between what I called object makers and idea makers.
Okay.
And it seemed like almost everybody fell on one side or the other. You had your kind of the old guard that were mostly object makers, and some of the new folks as well. And then you had, well, I guess it wasn't old new split like that, but you had people that were making pretty stuff, and it was important to them, but it wasn't like hyper conceptual, and it wasn't stuffy, and it wasn't trying to, I don't know, sniff its own farts or whatever. And then you had the idea people who, in a lot of ways, it felt like they couldn't make art out of a paper bag. Like they couldn't make make a project. I don't know what I'm trying to say. They couldn't draw, they couldn't paint, they couldn't sculpt. And so they decided they were going to make highly conceptual art and video pieces. And I don't want to shit on video art by any means. I'm not doing that. But it felt like there were certain people who, depending on what you were going to make, they were going to be all about your stuff, and certain people that were going to be very, very not all about it.
Yeah,
very cliquey.
And so I would split my time between those two, because I knew that I was going to get a lot of yeses from the object makers specifically, because the stuff I tended to make, I think, was visually attractive. Usually, it was at least complex and bizarre and whatever, and the object makers tended to enjoy that. But I was dealing with a lot of ideas too, and the communication aspect was really important, and I wanted to be able to defend myself against the Rosalynds and the Wendy Babcockses, right? So one thing that sparked my original talking about this was, I remember specifically I had Wendy on my committee. She was one of the, I think we had 3 people, right, that we were supposed to like talk to about our paper and all that shit. Wendy, Greg, I think, and Brad maybe, or something. And Greg and Brad were just like, yeah, this is great, you know, cool. They would talk to me about shit. And Wendy was always kind of pushing. And I think she always felt like, you could tell, it became more and more clear throughout that last year that she thought I was a sexist, and that she thought that my work was sexist. And there were a couple of times in specific where it became too much for her. I remember specifically, I had written my thesis paper and I had given it to her, and it was a final draft, and I was sitting outside on the bench with her, and she was like, I wanted to talk to you about this. She was like, I'm not going to sign off on this paper. She was like, I refuse to sign off on this paper. And it was because there was a place in it where I talked about this woman that I had seen on the interstate. And I referred to her hands as paws, because she was this really fat woman. And when I had driven by her on the interstate, her hands reminded me of like animal paws. And it wasn't in the I forget the full context of the blurb of what I was getting at, but it was essentially not a misogynistic comment as much as it was a misanthropic comment, which obviously is drastically different. And
let me clarify, when I offend, I want you to know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, I don't want to be misogynistic, because I don't feel like I am, but I am misanthropic, so I'm fine being that. I'm okay defending that. And I remember, it was funny because I remember like getting teared up out sitting on the bench, because I was writing this paper, and the whole paper was talking about how disconnected I feel from the human species, and why, and trying to sort of communicate that to the people that would read this paper in the best way that I know possible, which ended up being sort of like a dictionary type. I say that sounds really boring, but basically what I was doing is I was defining my lexicon of language and iconography to the viewer. So I was saying, this is what this type of imagery means. This is what this type of language for me means. And it was giving the viewer all this sort of like way to enter the work. And she had such an issue with that particular line. And it was, to me in that moment, it was just like, this woman can't get out of herself for a moment to sort of try and be empathetic and see things from this place, this totally different place that I'm coming from. And it was really, it was very negatively reaffirming for me, all these things that were obviously so big and heavy and weighted in terms of the things that I was making. And I remember that was such a huge thing. And I forget, it's weird looking back on it, because I did change it. I forget what I changed it to, but that's so not me. I wouldn't do that now. But I'm
surprised you did it then.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Or we just done. Like, let me just get out of here.
Maybe. I think I really,
at that point, it's a formality.
Yeah, I think I felt that. I felt like I don't care about this.
Yeah, you're like, I don't need to die on this hill. It's not that important.
It's not that I was conceding to her, is that the thing that I wrote didn't matter to me.
Yeah,
that comment didn't matter to me. Yeah. So it definitely shouldn't have, that kind of thing. Yep. And I remember Gregory pulling me aside later on. I want to say it was before or after my review, and telling me that was the best paper he had ever written, or he had ever read.
Because it's the only paper he had ever read. Let me throw that out.
That might have been it. But I was like, okay, well, that's like a little bit of validation in terms of I didn't need the attaboy, but I did enjoy having people tell me that when they read that paper, like, I see a little bit now of whether I agree or not. Like, I can see where you're coming from. I see this like line of attack, and like a little bit more about where you exist mentally. And that was good to have. I don't know if it really did anything, but it was nice for what it was.
So, Allen, I remember the first time I met you, and it was so significant. You probably don't remember, but I had moved into, I think maybe I either moved into your old studio or something, but you had to come in and pick up some fetal pigs out of the fridge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it was like two years after you graduated or whatever. And I like opened a fridge and someone was like, oh yeah, like the freezer. Someone's like, oh, so Alan will show up and get those at some point.
I brought my own fridge.
Okay.
So I had my own mini fridge because I had animal parts and
blood.
There was blood constantly in it. So I had this, I separated, you know, because we had an actual, I think, full size, and then it became a mini fridge at some point, I think. But I tried to be generous and you know, concerning of other people's well-being to a certain extent anyway. And I was like, I'll just get a separate fridge because I don't want anybody to feel super weird about this. So that small fridge had animal parts and a gallon of blood at all times. You could I found out in grad school you can buy a gallon of blood for $7
at the Mexican restaurant, right? Or Mexican
at
grocery.
The what do they call it? The House of Meats.
Yep. House
of Meats. Yep. Yeah.
Right over by Bo's.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, you can get. I mean, maybe I don't know if you can anymore, but I went there and
inflation.
I was like,
it's probably 12.
I was like, that's the only butcher I know of in town, and I was like, I'm just gonna go and like make a weird scene and ask them if I can have blood, because I'd come up with this idea that I'd been having all these relationships where I was realizing that what was happening is I was slowly acclimating myself in the relationship to situations that I didn't enjoy and that were very uncomfortable for me and were kind of gross in a sense.
Like talking?
And I was sitting, no, I like talking. And so I was sitting around the studio and I was like, I want to make art that kind of deals with this some way. And I want to make art that maybe mirrors that. And like, how do I do that? And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try and get some sort of medium that mimics that feeling. And it may surprise you guys, but like I was really uncomfortable with working with blood to begin with. And it was interesting because it really did mimic that sort of process of desensitization. And a lot of my work to this day, if I make stuff, is still partially about the human, the very, very core element of human nature, which is desensitization. I think that's something that people don't talk about a lot. A lot of problems with people and in between people occur because of the process of desensitization. That's something that people don't really a lot of times understand is happening to them. And so I was curious about this process and how it worked. And so I got this medium and I started working with it. And what I would have a little glass jar. I found out really quickly that blood wasn't like what I thought it was. I was doing printmaking at the time, and I was like, I'm going to do a bunch of prints, like screen prints using blood. I'll squeeze it through the screen, and it'll be great. I'll do the Raft of Medusa out of blood, and it'll be awesome. Well, you can't squeeze blood through screen. The screen is too small. The biggest screen won't work. It just bleeds everywhere. And I learned eventually that it's because of the platelets in the blood. And so I gave up on that, which was great because the prints would have sucked. They would have been really digital and produced. And so I changed to drawing, which became sort of this almost like ink wash. Like if you've ever done ink wash drawing or almost, watercolor in a sense, it's very similar. And so I would have a gallon of blood in the fridge, and the night before, in the freezer. And the night before, I would put it in the fridge, thaw it out. I would come in the next day. I would open up this gallon, of blood, and pour. I had a glass vial that was about that big, and I would fill that vial full, and I would put my paper on the wall, and I would sit up next to the wall with a vial of blood and just kind of do this for like 13 hours solid, and create these drawings. And I was very uncomfortable getting any of it on me at the very beginning. This is pig blood, by the way. And I remember,
you're not a bodily fluids guy, right? Like you're like
fuck no. I hate bodies. I don't like human beings. Bodies are absolutely disgusting. the things they do, yeah, it's terrible. So there was no way I would ever use human blood. People always ask, is this human blood? And I'm like, no, that's fucking gross. But yeah, I would
and maybe illegal.
It's illegal if it's not yours, I think, because it's a biohazard. You know, I've met so many girls that are like, oh, I do like drawings with my period blood, and I'm like, gross, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, so I would do these drawings, and I remember very specifically one day I was in the studio and I was drawing and I was kind of zoned out, you know, drawing, and I sneezed, and I didn't think about it, and I didn't have time to do anything. And so when I sneezed, it was like this body convulsion, and that blood just went everywhere. It was all over me. And in that moment, I just turned around and I just kind of wiped my hand off, and I just kept going. And I realized, like, oh, I hit the point.
Yep.
Somewhere between there and here, I got desensitized to this, and anyone would. There are tons of things that I'm still not desensitized to. I will not pick up dog shit. I don't have a dog, and that's one of the reasons why I don't have a dog. I'm not interested in picking up shit. Anybody's shit.
I'm glad that you're not just like going out seeking it out and trying to pick it up.
Well, yeah. I'm not trying to make art out of dog shit, surprisingly.
My dog crapped in a classroom on Monday.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. It did. I was in there all by myself, just like, ooh.
Jim has this little secret, this like superpower where he cannot be around fecal matter whatsoever, which I'm okay
it's
with.
Not just me. Yeah, it's not
except
just me.
that he has the biggest dog in the world and 2 children.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I'm surprised you haven't gotten over it. Yeah.
No,
There's I don't want kids by any means, but that would be a reason where I would be like, I don't know, man. I don't. The first dirty diaper, and I would be thinking about throwing that baby in the trash can or something. I don't know. Like, I don't think I could swing it.
Oh yeah. It's
so yeah, the you know, that whole thing taught me a lot about me in general and how I deal with that, and it helped me to kind of recognize being in that process as I go through it, which is really cool, because, you know, as human beings, we realize a lot of stuff in hindsight, but we don't realize a lot of stuff in the moment. And so that, you know, this past 15, 20 years, especially the art making section of it, was like me trying to train myself to figure out who I am and realize what I'm doing in the moment as opposed to afterwards. Yeah,
I'm good.
Especially like aggression stuff and general sort of like all the negative parts of us, you know, like the shitty parts of who we are. And it's good to see that stuff when it's happening in real time.
Yeah, my whole thing is, if I can be 51% good, 49% shitty, I guess, you know, I'm a winning percentage. I could go baseball, like, you know, 300, batting at 300. That's like,
that's
amazing.
that's less than 1/3.
That's 30 fucking percent.
Yeah, that's not that great to me.
Yeah. We could go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hockey. I don't know anything about hockey, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I fit. I do a lot of real serious thinking about if I feel like I'm a good person or not. And I'm not sure. I know I'm better than a lot of people in some regards, but I also see a lot of other things that people do where I'm just like, I would never do that. And they're, you know, good things that people are doing. And I'm just like, I would never. So, of course it's a big scale and who knows where we all fit.
Well, if you're thinking about it, that seems better than most people.
Yeah.
Most people don't
I guess
even bother.
That's the first step, right? Whether you do anything with that is the second step.
Yeah, but at least you're thinking.
I guess digesting it and like processing it and
some people are just shitty and they don't think about it.
If you do something shitty and you keep doing something shitty, but when you realize it and then you address it, maybe the shittiness, you don't know. I guess you have a shitty scale. Like everybody's got their shitty scale. Is it shitty? Like, do I want to change? I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a big thing with today is people, it's very sort of internet meme kind of admitting how awful you are, admitting the ways in which you're fucked up. It's usually like, I don't know, people like to call themselves retarded today. Like I'm on everybody's calling themselves autistic and like on the spectrum, and I don't know, like as trying to explain away all the things that are the parts of them that you can tell that they feel like don't really work that well, or that they don't like all that much, but that they don't feel like they can change, or that they don't want to change and they want an excuse for, or something.
No, for me, I realized that like a lot of things I'm processing why I do things after 46 years. I'm like, why do I still do the same shit I did when I was like 7? And then I'm like, oh, it's because of X, Y, Z. For me, a lot is like I'm finding out it's a lot to do with like only child, and how I process things.
Right.
Which is not something, I can't have a conversation with Jim or Toby because they both have siblings. And, I had a conversation with Jay, my friend Jay, and I'm like, oh, you don't have a brother and sister. And did you do this? Did you do this? Is that how you do things now? How's your wife?
Right.
And, it's something that made me. I don't consider it like a crutch. It's just like, oh, shit, it took me 46 years to realize that this is a thing. So, I change.
I'm maybe to a fault kind of a person who will always lean towards personal accountability. And I don't mean that, I definitely mean it about myself, but I also mean it in terms of applying it to others as well. And I think generally that comes off to others as me being aggressively judgmental. And that's fine. I'm okay with people thinking that. But to me, it's more of like seeing, I feel like I'm responsible for myself. I have to be, like I just said, I have to be okay with the way people see me, right? I have to accept that I'm responsible for that. And in the same ways, I feel like other people are responsible for their behavior. And there's so much today with language in terms of like kind of skewing language or manipulating language in order to kind of get out of social responsibility and the responsibility of being a responsible human being in general. Philosophically speaking, I guess that's just kind of, I don't know, gross to me. It's like fecal matter.
Jim loves the fecal matter.
No, I do not.
I get it. I mean, I can't argue.
Alan, I think you're a cool dude. You're a good dude.
I appreciate it.
I always being on. Have enjoyed our conversations and enjoyed what you're up to. I always, we hadn't kept up with each other very often just because life happens, but
I don't keep up with anybody that doesn't that I can't see every day. That's I guess it's weird because if I have anything that's autistic, it's the fact that it's like maybe it's like a what do you call it when something you can't see something and it doesn't exist? Object impermanence kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but I've always had a really difficult time keeping up with people that aren't in the same physical space as me.
Makes sense.
Especially because most of the time it's a lot of sort of like superficial conversations and things like that, and it's really difficult for me to have those over and over. But yeah, I love you guys. You guys and Kitsuro and maybe just a couple other people are like in terms of grad school. Definitely my favorite people out of there.
Man,
well, I think about you often. I'm always like, what is Alan doing now? If I haven't talked to you.
Yeah, well, feel free to check in. I'll do my best to do it as well. It's like the universal thing, right? Like I can force myself to do it, and I don't dislike it. So it's not that. It's just this weird thing that my brain does, and I've kind of gotten used to it, and people tend to let me slide with it, so I end up doing it more,
Can our secret phrase be Chun-Li hobo?
Chun-Li hobo.
What does the secret phrase do? Like
that's how we
absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
we Voltron, or like
in theory. It's how I personally test people to see if they actually listen to the whole podcast.
Oh, right. It's like like I do a lot of online dating, unfortunately, and you'll see these profiles where at the end of the profile, the girl's like, message me with the word orange if you read the profile, and it's like her way of figuring out if dudes actually read the profile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same
You
thing.
can test the viewers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because I don't trust anybody who says like I listened to it. I'd be like, why? But also then prove it.
But Toby's never actually doesn't know where the podcast is, doesn't know the name.
I know
basically.
Yeah, I know the name now. I mean,
could you pick it up in the lineup?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Okay. But Allen, thanks for coming on, man. You know,
I appreciate you guys having
me. We will have you back. We love just chatting, getting to talk to people and all that fun stuff. So man, thanks for coming on. And
yeah, of course.
I will look you up when I get back down to Florida.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take a trip over and see Kids Row maybe.
Sounds
or
like
we could
plan.
do something fun if you want. Either way, you know.
Without him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or something fun.
Or something fun.
Yeah, either way.
Awesome. Well, yeah, good to see you, and we'll see everybody next week.
All right.
All right.